Hi everyone! In this video I am going to do a head-to-head comparison of the brand name skincare product versus the generic skincare product. This is my second video in this series, which I hope to do more videos like this. If you didn't see the first video in this series, I will link it in the upper right hand corner for you to check out. That was for CeraVe's Daytime Moisturizing SPF Lotion, and I compared it to the CVS generic brand of that product. And if you want to see which one won out, then make sure you go check that video out. In this video, we're going to take both CeraVe and CVS head-to-head again, but this time comparing their even more popular PM Moisturizing Lotion. So if this at all interests you, I am going to compare not only side by side the exact ingredients in each of these products and see if they are similar to each other or identical. And I also apply these, and after having tested these for several weeks now, I am going to give you my review on the texture, what I think is the similarities or differences cosmetically speaking, not just the ingredients, price points, all that kind of stuff. So if this is interesting to you, please make sure you keep watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel by hitting that red subscribe button, and I'll link Allura Beauty's Instagram page on the upper left-hand corner for you to go check out if you're not a follower. Make sure you're subscribed and follow to be eligible for upcoming giveaways. I know many of you may be here after having subscribed from Susan Yara's reveal that the brand Naturium is her brand, and I will link on that note in the upper right hand corner my full review of every single product in the Naturium line, which, just to let you know, I filmed that video about a week before she revealed that it was her line, so I had no idea. I don't think anyone did. But the reason I mention that is because there are some issues that I point out with some of the products in my ingredients review of the Naturium skincare. She kind of addressed in her video the issue with the pH. I'm not sure if my opinion is still pending in terms of whether I think that's reliable science, only because I haven't actually seen good scientific studies that say that you can resolve the issue that I pointed out the way that she says it is resolved. But I will try to let you know in the description box of that video or in the comments or both any sort of updates or information that I get on that point. But if any of that interests you, make sure you go check that video out. And if you're a new subscriber, then thank you for joining, and I hope you enjoyed the videos. All right, so like I said, we are comparing head to head the brand name CeraVe Facial Moisturizing Lotion PM versus CVS's generic brands, CVS Health Moisturizing Facial Lotion PM. So when I walk into my local CVS store, you can see that they are placed side by side with each other. The CVS version has pretty reminiscent packaging of the one that's in the CeraVe box, both of them with mostly blue and white designs. Now at my local CVS, the brand name CeraVe product is priced at $16.49. Of course, that price is going to differ just depending on your local store. It changes literally between different CVS stores in different locations. And of course, if you're purchasing this at a different drugstore like Rite Aid, Target, Walmart, then the price is going to vary, but it's somewhere in the $16 range, whereas the CVS version was priced at $13.99. Of course, CVS runs sales all the time, not just for its own brand name products, but other drugstore items too, so that will also affect the pricing. But generally speaking, a generic version will be priced at something more affordable than the brand name, because whether you like it or not, part of the price tag for a brand name is not just research, not just whether the product is good or bad, but literally for the fact that it has a known familiar name on the brand. So when we look at the packaging of the bottles, they are also pretty much identical except for superficial things. So both of them are mainly blue and white. The shape of the bottles is exactly the same. You get the same amount of product. You get 3 fluid ounces in each bottle, and they both have pump dispensers that you kind of twist to unlock and then you can depress. And both of them come in opaque packaging, plastic bottles, so that the ingredients inside are protected from air, because it's a pump dispenser, and from light exposure, which are 2 important things to help preserve the good skincare ingredients inside. So the prices are different so far, but the packaging is identical. Let's go ahead and talk about the texture of these two. And I'll start by showing you how the CeraVe one looks on the skin versus the way the CVS one looks on the skin. So this one here is the CeraVe one, and this one down here is the CVS one. Please excuse that stain. I was swatching some makeup earlier. I don't visually see any sort of difference. And when you rub the product in, I also don't tell a difference at all. They both have a gel lotion texture, so it's very lightweight. There you can see them compared, CeraVe versus CVS, with a little bit of blending there. I'll jump to some footage where I applied these to my face. I spent many days using just the CeraVe one. In fact, I've used several. This is probably my fourth or fifth bottle of the CeraVe one, and I spent several days using just the one from CVS also. But in this footage, I applied the CVS one to, I think it's the left side of my face, on your screen the right side, and I applied the brand name one to the right side of my face. On your screen, it would be the left side. And they sink into the skin and feel identical on the skin. They are hydrating, but they have a lightweight texture that feels effortless on the skin. It doesn't feel greasy, doesn't have a shiny finish, it's not heavy. It'll sink in and set without any sort of additional shine to your face. So if you took all identifying labels off of these products and you asked me to tell the difference and which one was which, I wouldn't be able to. So they are virtually identical in texture, in the way they move across the skin, the way they sink in the skin, and the way that they eventually settle and dry down on the skin. In addition, they seem to function the same when you apply other things. So I will always have a toner underneath, and then after I apply the moisturizer, I'll put a sunscreen on top, and then if I'm wearing makeup that day, I will apply makeup on top of that. I've had no issues and seen no differences in the way that my makeup settles or wears throughout the day between these two products. And I don't have any sort of issues with pilling or with creating weird texture. All right, so now we know that visually they're similar and cosmetically they are pretty much identical. Let's dive into the actual ingredients and see how close the generic got to the brand name. Now, the entire pull for this product from CeraVe, and the reason why it's so popular, or part of the reason why it's so popular, in addition to being affordably priced, is the ceramides that are included in the product. So that's really a key ingredient and component of why this is a good skincare product. So putting them side by side, we see that the beginning ingredients, which are the most prevalent, there's the most amount of them in the product, they are identical, one for one, in the beginning of the ingredients lists. So both of these products start with water, followed by glycerin, then by capric triglyceride, followed by niacinamide, which is also a fantastic skincare ingredient, followed by cetyl alcohol, which is an emulsifier. After the cetyl alcohol, that's where we get a little bit of a divergence in terms of the ingredients. Going to the CVS one, instead of the next ingredient being the potassium phosphate, we get several different ingredients, including cetyl glucoside, which, similar to the cetyl alcohol, is an emulsifier and texturizer, followed by arachidyl alcohol. Excuse me if I pronounce some of these. I'm not familiar with every single one of these compounds, but this ingredient is also an emollient and texture enhancer, then followed by arachidyl glucoside, again an emulsifier. Then we have Cetirith 20, another texture enhancer. So as opposed to the CeraVe one, which jumps to the potassium phosphate, the CVS one has a few more ingredients that go to the emollients and the texture of the product. Now, potassium phosphate is in the CVS version, it's just not until after the halfway point in the ingredients, whereas with the CeraVe one, it is right after the cetyl alcohol. Potassium phosphate is not so much an active skincare ingredient as opposed to something that is added to skincare and cosmetics to adjust the pH. Now, after the potassium phosphate, that's where we get back on the same page between these two products, and we get several different ceramides in both of the skincare products. And the reason why ceramides are really loved in the skincare world is because they help enhance kind of the moisture and plumpness of your skin. Ceramides naturally occur in your skin, but as you get older, older, your skin doesn't have as many of them. Now, fortunately, applying ceramides topically does effectively add ceramides back into your skin and help the appearance of your skin. Now, with CeraVe's ingredients, we have ceramide NP, ceramide AP, ceramide EOP. And when you look at the CVS version, you have ceramide 3, ceramide 6.2, and ceramide 1. And although there are different names, these are pretty much the same ingredients. They're all ceramides, they all work on the skin. And for example, ceramide 3 is the same ingredient as ceramide NP. It's just different ways to list them or name them. Now, what's a little interesting at this point is that while the CeraVe product has those 3 ceramides and then jumps next to a carbomer, which is another texture enhancer, the CVS one, after the 3 ceramides, lists phytosphingosine, which is also a ceramide. So it looks like there are 4 ceramides included in the CVS one and 3 in the CeraVe one. I don't know exactly what percentage total ceramides are in each product because that's not something that is listed, but in any case, they both have their healthy dose of ceramides, which is the key ingredient we're looking for. Then the CeraVe one continues on with dimethicone, another sort of texture ingredient, Cetera 20, which we already saw in the CVS version, whereas the CVS version then goes to hyaluronic acid, which is an ingredient that I don't see in the CeraVe version, although I do see sodium hyaluronate in the CeraVe version. So what's interesting about this is you're probably familiar with hyaluronic acid. It is an antioxidant and really helps to moisturize the skin, whereas sodium hyaluronate is also an antioxidant and is actually considered to be a more effective version of hyaluronic acid because it's more skin compatible. Now again, at this point in the ingredients list, these differences are pretty small, but it is always interesting to see how a generic version will incorporate the ingredients into their skincare items to help mimic the brand name versions. Oh, and on that note, the CeraVe does have the phytosphingosine also. It's just much later in the ingredients list. Then going back to the CVS one, it does contain cholesterol, dimethicone, the way that the CeraVe one. So they're kind of going back and forth. It's not one-to-one, but overall, these ingredients are pretty much identical. And with the remainder of the ingredients for both of these products or each of these products, I don't see anything that really stands out as being super unique or impacting the overall efficacy of the product. So at the end of the day, these feel the same. They seem to function the same on the skin when applied, and they have virtually identical ingredients in there. Most importantly, with the most important skincare ingredient, they are pretty much one-to-one. So at the end of the day, which one wins out of these two? I certainly love the CeraVe one. Like I said, this is probably my 4th or 5th bottle, and I will continue to use it. But if you're gonna get the CVS version at a cheaper price, let's say that this one is on sale and the CeraVe one isn't, or they're not on sale, and obviously the CVS one will be cheaper, there's no reason to not go with the CVS one. So ultimately, I think that the CVS one, again, is the winner. But if the CeraVe one is on sale so that it's the same price as the CVS one or even a little cheaper, I would absolutely go with the CeraVe one. They're both winners in my book. If you just want to save a little bit of cash, then the CVS one is always an option that you should keep in mind. All right, there is the head-to-head comparison between brand name CeraVe and generic brand CVS's facial moisturizing lotion for PM. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment in the comment section below any other head-to-heads you want me to do between generic and brand name products. Any thoughts that you have on this video. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching it. As always, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you in the next one.